I don't think new people need to worry about overtraining. You need to worry about undertraining when you start. We are back, still pressing every day, priority one. My goal is gonna be to hit a big overhead press. Today, I'm gonna get warmed up. I'm gonna look to 1 rep max, my overhead press. I've been training it for about probably 2-3 weeks, not quite. See where we're at, so we have a reference point for where we're going. Yesterday, just to keep you up to date with my training, yesterday I did dumbbell presses. I did 3 sets to failure with 40 pounds, hit about 16, 17 each time. Last set only hit 12, that's how I need to call it there. A way I judge whether or not it's worth to keep pushing my sets is how close I can get to the initial number I hit, because I've taken most things to failure. As someone I'm rebuilding my physique as opposed to starting from scratch, or being like, if I had never stopped weight training, I would be training a little different. That's when you start to need to work with percentages. You need to start to really take care of your reps. Right now, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about hitting my numbers. So, I'm gonna turn some music on. You guys are probably gonna hear some copyright-free music, or if we're on TikTok, some TikTok sounds. But put some music on, we'll start warming up. I already did my band dislocators. They're really important. A lot of my workout, a lot of the volume is gonna come from the warm-up. Working up to a max set. My goal today for a max set, I'm thinking 165. If we hit 185, money. That'd be really good. I'd be so happy if I could hit 185 today. Realistically, I'm thinking 165. We'll give it a couple attempts. Gonna warm up with the bar. Might warm up behind the neck. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it feels. Everything's about feel. You gotta get that.
A little piece always keeps the wheels.
I've been watching a lot of Basement Bodybuilding and Revival Fitness and their stuff, and I came up watching old Eric Bugenhagen, like 2016 Eric Bugenhagen. Love him. Every time I've had a good physique, it's based on a style of training they push. Now, when I was my biggest, it was listening to Basement Bodybuilding and Alpha Destiny, or he goes by Alex now, Alex Leonidas, I think. Sorry if that's wrong, but I grew up with him being Alpha Destiny. I was power building forever, and then it stopped working, and like I always had the spider physique where your arms are just always lagging behind. And if you've been watching me at all, you know I hate arm day. I'm gonna be forcing some arms in today. I don't like arm day. It's just not something I've ever enjoyed. Not a reason for it, I just haven't enjoyed it. So with that being said, I'm back to the old Eric Bugenhagen power building style with some extra arm work, but not in like the traditional current sense of power building, where it's like I do my power lifts and then I hit my accessory work. I'm gonna hit my accessory work with the same aggression I hit my main lifts with. Now, the difference now, and this is why minimalist training should work for me this time, where it hasn't worked in the past. And there's times it has worked for me and times it hasn't. Eric mentions it, Eric Bugenhagen, Rick the Stick Del Hagen mentions it in one of his videos, and he has so many videos and they're not titled well, so it's hard to find his good information, but he has some solid information. What Eric says is the reason he could do the minimalist training and see results, and like I might be butchering this and misunderstanding it, but with his wrestling training, his volume was so high, all he had to really do was hit the power lifts, and that's when he was hitting the weird lifts. I'm still going to consider those power lifts, because we don't care what version of deadlift you're doing, you're deadlifting. Behind the back, it's sumo, narrow, frog. There's all these different ways to do it. Between the legs, you're deadlifting. And then he's doing weird presses, and it's like that's what he's doing though. He's hitting his big compound lifts. So he could get big off just those because his wrestling volume was crazy. Now, when I was younger doing this, my volume was just from the gym. There was points where karate was overlapping with it, but that wasn't very physical. Now, I'm doing jiu-jitsu, judo, and boxing. I'm prepping for hopefully MMA down the road if everything goes to plan. But because of that, I'm doing about 35 hours of grappling a week. And now I know a lot of you have felt jiu-jitsu before. You're like, oh, it's not that hard of work. The workout's not that crazy. It is when you're trying to be competitive with it. I try to make my training look as much like a wrestling room as I possibly can, because wrestlers dominate in jiu-jitsu when they start learning jiu-jitsu. But it's because of the physicality. Same with judoka. And now, same with that, judo is like a kettlebell workout on steroids, because I'm picking people up and throwing them. And as you get better, you become more efficient. But if you're going really hard at it and competing frequently, it's hard, it's taxing. That's the hardest thing I have to recover from. So my volume is still coming from my grappling training, and I'm gonna hit my power lifts to make sure I'm getting strong. For me, if I get really big arms in the next 6 months, it might make me a little better at grappling. If I can add 60 pounds to my overhead press and 200 pounds to my deadlift in the next year or two, just because my numbers will go up that quickly, because they used to be really high. Right now my numbers are low from what I'm used to when I was powerlifting. So if I can get my numbers back to my powerlifting numbers without negatively impacting my cardio, that's where I'm going to see the best results. And it should give me decent physique, because I'm using every muscle in jiu-jitsu. I'm using every muscle when I do judo. Boxing's a lot of shoulders, but you get what I mean. I'm using all my muscles all week, and then I'm hitting my explosive cardio, my sprint work, and then we're going to be hitting these. We're going to be hitting my presses, we're going to be hitting my pulls. I want to go over really quickly the most effective way to train for sport if you're training your sport competitively. Anyone who's studied a lot of anything, of any single topic, you realize things get repetitive down the road. But that's a good sign. It means you're studying the right stuff, because if I'm studying power sports, strength sports, martial arts, any of it, if every book I'm studying is saying 80% the same thing, but then the last 20% is like their secret sauce. It's like what they're doing to get that extra 10% out of their athletes. We know now for a fact that the 80% that's the same, that has to happen. We have to make this work. So something that gets really common when we're training with athleticism is I'm seeing you want one strength day and you want one explosiveness day. So our strength days are squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, rowing. But so that's just, we're going to get these numbers stronger and we're going to progress throughout them. And then my sprint day is kettlebell work, which I've shown on here before, and we're using our air bike to do 30 on, 30 off. Now you don't need to. You can be on the road sprinting. You can do 30 on, 30 off with really anything. You can get a good cardio session with a barbell and doing thrusters or 30 on, 30 off squats. It's gonna win you. But I like to have no resistance in my cardio, which is why I use an air bike. When I was doing it on the street and running, hard on the knees. Knees get impacted from all the impact. So we're looking at one strength day and one sprint day on top of all my jiu-jitsu. The average person who's training jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, wrestling's different. Wrestlers take it really serious. Not a lot of casual wrestlers out there. But for those of you who are, you're looking maybe 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and that's for guys competing. I talk to a lot of competitors. This is because I've had a lot of competitions. A lot of them are like, oh yeah, I've been really consistent hitting 4 days a week. Maybe they're getting 2 hours per session, so they're getting 8 hours a week, which is really good. That's solid. Now, on top of that, can you get your weight training in? Now, this is where a lot of jiu-jitsu guys get really confused on the weight training. There's a simple question of, should I be weight training? I want to get better at jiu-jitsu. Let's say if you're a blue belt, you don't got to weight train. White belts don't got to weight train. Purple, you're going to need to be competitive. Guys get stronger and they get better, and you're going to want to use everything. But what you want to look at is, before you add in a weight day, is it going to negatively impact your training for your sport? I don't care what sport it is, but if you're taking off a session of training your sport to add in strength and conditioning, that's going to negatively impact your sport. If there's someone who's getting an extra 5 hours a week in, and you decided to dedicate that time to getting stronger. Now, that's only though at the higher end, because I find in lower ranks, really strong athletic guys can win. But the better we get, the better our opponents get, and the more we need to be able to trick them and out-technique them. So that's the equation. A lot of guys I see will be only training jiu-jitsu 2 or 3 days a week, and then take one of those days off a week to add in strength and conditioning. And it's like, they're feeling better, they're coming better, and if that's their goal, that's their goal. Because I think most people should really only be training once or twice a week, if that means they can train for years. No benefit to training every single day for 6 months and then quitting. You just kind of, it's like, what was that? The longer you stay in, the better you'll be. It's as simple as that. But let's look for one strength conditioning day. Let's look for one strength day and one explosiveness day. So one day focusing on sprints and Tabata work, or let's go with Tabata. I like Tabata. Sprints and Tabata work, and then one day focusing on our power lifts. And we can't have it impact our training. So if you benched too crazy last night and now your next training session's junk, you gotta even out. You gotta even it out. Simple as that. Let's hit our set. That went really easy. We're gonna move up to 135. Tell you, the only issue working out in a garage in the winter, the bare metal is cold. Whew. Okay, I want to give a quick equipment review while we're here. These bad boys are the Rogue, we got here, DB15s. Freaking love them. I was gonna go with the traditional adjustable dumbbell, but I already had all this weight, and I wanted to just use the weight I had. And I saw another YouTuber, I think it was a Glux Gym, one of them using a style of these. Looked in, got a quality one. They're really good. For most people, get the DB10, okay? These are long and clunky to use. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had a single issue with the size. Not even for bicep curls. Like, there's nothing that I found with the length of these that's negatively impacted. My mother and girlfriend, on the other hand, A, never use the full length, and B, they're smaller and it gets in their way. Now, the benefit of these is, if you go back to my channel to see me, you can load this up with like 45s and get really heavy single arm rows. And that's why I went with this length. For pressing, you can't put on a big old plate. So I think the most I've had on these for pressing is 80 or 90 pounds a hand, but that's without buying extra weight. I'm just using those old metal 10s. It's like I have bells of steel ones. These here are Cap barbell. They're cheap, they're on Amazon. If you watch for deals, you'll get good deals on them. The main one I use are these standard ones from Cap. I like them more. And then the ones I have that I like most, I have in 5 and 2.5 pounds. These are my bells of steel ones. These bells of steel plates, they don't jingle as much because the circle in the middle is much better. But you slam these on with the collar. This is a 15-pound dumbbell. I'd have a set of 10s, just like a cheap set of 10s to get lower. But put a 5 on each side, we got a 25-pound dumbbell. Then you've all seen the other ones I have. I got 40s. So when I'm warming up and I'm gonna go a little heavier, I don't need to climb up as much. I use the 10s, I use the 15s. Depending on what I'm doing, then I jump to the 40s. And then sometimes for like lateral raises, shoulder flies, I stop, I'm only going to 25. I put 2.5s on and the 20-pound dumbbells. Like, it's really solid. You can get ones and climb up. And it's really nice to be able to climb up like that. The issue with these ones is the price, but I think they're worth every dollar. Bells of Steel makes a cheaper set. And for the average person, that's probably better. Sometimes I get caught up with, I need the best version of whatever I'm getting, and I wait for a sale and pay too much money for something that does 80% the same. You don't need it. Get what works. These will work. I'd be very surprised if the Bells of Steel one aren't just as good. Maybe the knurling's not as nice. Maybe the finish isn't as nice. Is that going to negatively impact your workout? I don't really think so. Because like, I got this new Rogue bar. All the reviews said, because I had a bare steel Ohio power bar. It's at my parents' house right now. This one was on sale though, when I needed a second barbell. Because I left that one for my parents. They have my barbell and squat rack. And I didn't want to move that down here. I don't know how long I'll be here, and if I wanted to drill holes into the floor of my garage. So I'm looking for a different rack down there. But either way, this is the zinc oxide black bar. It was on sale for Black Friday. It's a black bar. And I wanted another bare steel bar, and it's like, do I pay more for the stainless steel? And online everyone says, oh, the knurling's too soft. The knurling's too soft. The knurling is 100 times better than the knurling of any public gym bar I've used that doesn't have like a set powerlifting bar. Most of the public gyms around me are just still using those cheap barbells that they feel like they're gonna slip out of your hands during the bench press. That's still the standard bar in most public gyms outside of big cities. Now, I've been to university gyms that are completely outfitted with Rogue, and they have nice bars, but this is just as good. This is still a Rogue Ohio Power Bar, and the knurling's a little soft, but like, there's no slip. I grip into that bar, it's good. Let's hit our next set. These reviews, with the equipment reviews online, if you see someone where the comments like, had it for years, holds up great, it's great. You don't need to go get something fancy. And it's hard to remember that because we're in a time where we can watch reviews for everything. And I'll watch 100 reviews, and then that's how I end up with equipment that like I don't need, because I could have gotten much cheaper equipment. And if I'm buying cheaper equipment, I can probably buy more equipment. Now, cheap doesn't mean it's going to break. Maybe you don't buy the cheapest thing, but even like, you see squat racks on Amazon, like the old squat rack Eric Bugenhagen used in bench. I never would have bought that. And he used it for like 10, 15 years, moving and slamming 100 times the weight I'm ever going to put on any of my squat racks. I had a Rogue Monster Light Rack before I moved here, and I could bring it down, but I'm never going to need it that much, because like, if you're watching YouTube fitness videos, it's very unlikely that you're benching 800 pounds or even squatting 800 pounds. You see them, but it's not the guys watching my videos. And if it is, hell yeah, let's keep it going. But it's not me. I'm not going to be doing that. My biggest lifts were my deadlifts, and they were only like mid fives. Like, I never got much past 530, and I doubt I ever will. It's as simple as that. Maybe I get injured and can't grapple and I get back into powerlifting or hop on gear or something in like 10, 15 years. But right now, this is all I'm doing. This is all I need. I'm getting crazy workouts in. You don't need more than a barbell. The guy who invented the Zerchers, the story with the Zerchers, I don't know if it's true. Fact check me. Comment if it's something different. I'd like to know. I like to learn lifting history. I like to learn fighting history. But the guy with the Zerchers had a barbell and no squat rack and invented a bunch of different ways to lift. Why can't we do the same? Why do I need to have collegiate level equipment? Like, why do I need to look like a fully outfitted college gym in my garage to get a workout? I can get a wicked workout with, I got a barbell, I got dumbbells, and an adjustable bench. If I had a squat rack, there's nothing I couldn't do. And right now, other than a bench press, with a barbell, there's nothing I can do. I'm still benching with my dumbbells. It's like I can still hit my flat bench. And a dumbbell bench is arguably better. Is that not like common knowledge? This is what, 135 or 155. Maybe it's too big of a jump. We'll see how it feels. That 165 was good. It moved good. Got two. Not gonna do a big jump this time. That was hard. This next jump's vital. Two things. I gotta stay warm, keep moving, can't rest too long for this set. I'm gonna keep preaching the same advice, because if you're watching this, I wanna help you. Pick a move and get strong at that move. You can't do a push-up? Your first goal is hit a push-up. You don't even need a gym for that. Work on push-ups. Right now, go on Google, search up how to do a push-up, how to work up to doing a push-up, push-up variations, and start practicing. And every day do push-ups. You're not gonna overwork yourself if every day you pick 10 minutes to work on push-ups. And do your sets to failure. The average person, especially the average new person, you get a couple weeks of training under your belt, start doing at least one of your sets to failure. I like to do the first set to failure and then see how close to that number I can get every other time. But you can also do your last set to failure. I've done that a lot. And that's to make sure you're getting enough volume in. When you're new to the gym, everything's hard. And you're not going to be like, oh, that was an RPE 7. You have no idea. I'd even argue people with like almost 2 years in the gym are only kind of guessing, unless they went like crazy in the gym. Because like, you'll see me all the time. I'll hit a set and be like, yeah, could have done 5 with that. I'll stop at 3, and I could have done 5, and then I'll move up in weight, and then I'll move up in weight. But like you start to feel it. You get really used to it when you have enough time under your belt. I don't think new people need to worry about overtraining. You need to worry about undertraining when you start. You're going to get more out of sets to failure than you're going to anything else. Now, I'm not saying every day come in the gym, grab the overhead press bar, and do sets to failure. It's like, it might not work for you, but it also might work for you. So give it a shot, because it's more likely the average person's undertraining than overtraining. Now, when you start feeling like, oh, I need a rest day, take a rest day. It's not that hard, but you should try to train, especially at home. Try to move every day. Have some numbers you want to hit. I think everyone should be able to do 3 sets of 20 push-ups, guy or girl. If you can't do any push-ups yet, that's where we're starting. Same with bodyweight squats. You can't do a bodyweight squat, that's where we're starting. Start working up to it. Squat off a chair, just up and down, up and down. Once you can do 3 sets of 20 of all those, then it's like, yeah, I should go to the gym. Because no, I'm never going to push anyone away from going to the gym. If you want to go to the gym and you feel like that's how you want to work out, do it. 99% of people go to the gym, make it this big thing, start in January, quit in a couple months. If you don't want to be one of the statistics, try working out at home first. No financial investment. If you right now don't take any walks and don't do any movement, the results you will see from doing 3 sets to failure push-ups, 3 sets to failure bodyweight squats, a 10-minute walk every day, in a couple weeks a 20-minute walk, maybe a 30-minute walk, maybe a 10-minute jog. Maybe just like, I'm gonna go out for 10 minutes, I wanna see how far I can get in 10 minutes. You start doing stuff like that, in 6 months, you're gonna be a completely different person. That's a guarantee. There's no way around that. If you're going from no movement to someone who can do 30 push-ups in one go and 100 squats in one go, and you can jog for 10 minutes nonstop without like losing your breath, you're now a different person. It's insane. I've seen so many people have the most insane results from just walks, push-ups, and bodyweight squats. And yeah, you're gonna eventually be like, I need something else. That's when the gym comes in. You don't start by hitting a really advanced powerlifting program to get your bench to 315 when you can't do a push-up. The program might work, but what if if the program is too specific and too regimented, you have to follow it to a T, which a lot of programs, the better you follow them, the better you'll do. And you know that, you miss your program, you miss a day, and you feel bad. And now there's guilt around the gym. And you don't want to go because you don't want to feel that guilt. Let's hit 165. Okay, I just hit a set of biceps. My phone died. So you missed me failing my last set. Thought I'd give it another go. I already hit a set of biceps. Little baby arms are growing. With little baby arms still. Wow. 175. Failed it last time, like 5 minutes ago. Did not budge. Let's see how it goes. Nothing in me. Nothing in me. Either way, that was my second shot at it. Got to about nose level. We'll beat it. 165 was my max this week. Next week, let's see if we can hit 175. Let's hit another set of bicep curls before my phone dies again. Shoulders are coming. I have to do a physique update here soon, but doesn't matter. My last set, I hit 18 bicep curls. This is set 2. Oh, already. No, I'm not hitting 18. Failing a set of overhead press kills you. Just like that, I'm tired. Whoo, killed me. My phone's probably not gonna let me record it, so I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do for the rest of my workout. That was my overhead pressing. Thank you for joining me for the overhead pressing. It was fun. I love overhead pressing right now. My goal is 225. We're at 165, on our way. On the path, I'm hitting my shoulder flies, my behind the necks, my in front of the necks. Not following the program, just hitting the shoulders hard. Like I hate them. Might need to start hitting some tricep work as I'm noticing lockout issues, but I think that'll come with time. I'm having a hard time budging it from my collarbone area. Seems to be where it's the heaviest. But you saw when I push pressed it to get to here, still couldn't lock that weight out. So it's gonna take some time to get used to that weight again. I'm gonna now hit one more set of bicep curls. I think I hit like 10 on that last one. I feel weak, but it's good. It's good to feel weak. So I'm getting stronger every day. Then I'm probably gonna hit some cardio. It might be light cardio because I have a big training day tomorrow. I have a 10 o'clock training session, and then I have a 6 o'clock training session, which will normally go till about 9. So probably about 5 hours of jiu-jitsu and judo tomorrow. So I don't want to be too beat up for that. And that's a lot of the way I'm training, is to account for the volume of judo, jiu-jitsu, and boxing I do. So I can't just like come in here and destroy anything. Because if I get injured in the gym, that's what's going to set me back a month, 2 months, 6 months if it's bad. I sprained my wrist about 6 months ago and it's just starting to feel good now. It really messed me up. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'm helping my 2 viewers. I appreciate it. Almost at 100 on TikTok. Look at these little baby arms. Shoulders are coming. Tackle the arms to come along with them.